Leah, thank you for coming on. We're excited to have you on Real Relate family. We have a very special guest here, Leah, co-founder of the Caribum clothing line, right?
Yes, you got it.
So Leah, if you saw Gabby's episode, we usually start the podcast with a very open-ended question. Leah, who are you today?
Oh, wow. Who am I? I always start with like digital entrepreneur because that's literally what my life is all about. And I try to be who I am like at home, the same person in front of the camera, on Instagram, at work, with meetings, with Gabby, with Caribum, with everything. So digital entrepreneur kind of like takes over. It's like an umbrella. So it takes over my content creation, my brand, Caribum Official, all the interviews that I've been doing on podcasts too, as of last month. So that's pretty much, and a bride, I guess, that's taken like the other.
Talk your talk. Tell them. Be like,
I'm getting married in 2 months in Mexico. Super exciting, super stressful, but mostly exciting. Yeah.
That's awesome.
You
nailed it. Hey, listen, you can't like mess up that question, because that question is to be told to like anybody to answer.
It's such an existential question. I'm like,
yeah. Some people come in here and they're like, yeah, well, I'm a 26-year-old person or this and that, or some people come in, I'm a creative, I'm this. So however you answer the question is the most.
Almost 28. No, almost 29. Oh my God, I forgot my own age.
Yeah, I'm 26. Barbara, you 12, 22?
I'm actually 24.
Oh.
24. Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's awesome. So let's go back to the beginning, right? Let's back this up. The thing about the Real Relate, she's on a Real Relate podcast. We got a Real Relate storyline. It's a multiverse. It's a cinematic universe with characters and everything, and you're part of that universe now. So let's go back before you were creative, before you made it at least official on Instagram and stuff like that. You said, I think I've seen things that you were in finance before. Like, can you talk a little bit about your come up story, where you're from, how you started Caribum? How did you go from finance to being a creative? Just let it loose and talk, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so actually, if we want to start at the beginning, before I went into finance, I wanted to be a marine biologist. So, and my goal initially, I went to college for biology, to school for biology, graduated from it at University of Arizona. The goal was to start a swimwear brand, kind of like, I don't know if you guys remember the Tom's shoes that like 50% of the proceeds would go to like another shoe, to create another shoe for another child. So I wanted to do something similar, but having part of the profits to go to marine biology research, and kind of like helping in Puerto Rico specifically, like coral reefs are like getting destroyed and disappearing. So that's what I wanted to do. This is back when I was 21, so like 7 years ago, or more actually. It was like 19 to 20. So I left Puerto Rico at 17, went to college for biology in Arizona. And while I was in college, I needed a job because you know how it goes. I was on a scholarship. My parents, they could only do so much. So I got a job in finance and real estate. And that's sort of how that transition happened. Once I graduated college, I realized that some things happen. I had a biology internship. I realized that's not what I wanted to do. And I got a pretty good job offer in the car industry to do finance for them. So I decided to do that. Pretty much didn't have an option because, once I was out of college, I didn't have a scholarship. My parents, they couldn't really help me.
You were broke.
So
you were broke.
Right. Exactly.
You were broke. Just say it. Just say I was broke.
Oh my God. I had to sell. I had a 2004 Ford Taurus that I bought for $4,000 and sold for $1,000 so that I could pay my first month of rent in LA.
Damn. Wow. Don't ever say she didn't come from the bottom.
And I remember feeling so dumb because I had just bought it like a year before for $4,000 and I'm like $1,000, but I needed it. So yeah, you can say start it from the bottom for sure.
That's it.
And from there, once I moved to LA, I'm blessed to say I hit it off at work there immediately. It was a lot of commission based, so I started doing really well, better than I expected. Needless to say, making more than I ever had in my entire life.
Yeah.
So that's when I started putting money aside. The goal was always to create a brand, a swimwear brand. So what is now Caribum. But at that time I had, not really an idea of what I wanted to do with
But
it.
you knew it was in the back of your head the whole time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
it was a long-term goal.
Yeah.
Goal of mine. What else?
That's kind of nuts. That's kind of nuts. He has it in the back of your head.
Instagram. So I've always had like a little creative side. Like I used to like to draw when I was in high school. And then I really took on photo editing in college just for fun, just like an Instagram thing. I enjoyed it. So my idea when I want to say this was like 2016, once I started working in finance full time, I wanted to build my audience a little bit. I still didn't want to be like an actual blogger, but just build it a little bit. That way, once I launched my brand, I would have like an audience, like a base of people like that were watching and that would potentially buy from me. So that's how the blog started. The blog really started like 2 years after that. It was very gradual. So from just working in finance, saving money, then like, I think it was like 2.5 years into my finance career when I realized that's not really what I wanted to do forever. Yeah. I always thought that I could do both, like have a full-time corporate job and also have like a fun creative side. But there was a moment in my life, we all have that like turning point where I realized like I can't do this, not just for the rest of my life, but probably not even for 5 more years. So that's when I kind of sat down.
What was that turning point? Because I think that's a very key point.
It was a combination of really difficult times at work. Like I still was, that's when I truly realized like money isn't everything. I was making more, saving more than I ever had in my life. But I just wasn't happy. There was a lot of stress. There was a lot of things with management at the time at work that they just didn't click for me. And I wasn't happy. So, or that's sad to say, because I was very grateful and I always have been. And I think I always will be very grateful for my finance career, but it just, something changed, something switched. And I knew that if I didn't try to make Caribum, and at that point, I started to fall in love with blogging. So my creative side, basically my full-time gig, if I didn't at least try, I wouldn't be happy with myself in the long term. Does that make sense?
That's crazy. And so you realize that turning point and you leave your finance job, you leave that corporate world behind. And you
I didn't leave it yet.
You didn't leave it yet. The story continues, but you switch more to being a creative. Talk about that journey. You know what I mean?
Yes. So after that, I actually took a different job doing the same thing, but for a different company, more flexible company. It was a tech company. Actually amazing. Had a really great experience, which made the whole thing harder as Caribum started to grow once we launched, which was last May. My plan was actually to keep working until the wedding, which is now, so 1 more year. And there was a week after we launched Caribum where my blog also had taken off. Taken off. I don't have a million.
I know you're talking like for like a startup.
It's all relative.
Like for like a startup creative, it was doing well. I would say like same for Real Relate. Like Real Relate is doing well, but it's not like, oh my God, I feel what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
Right. You always have, an expectation and an idea of where you want to be. So I wasn't where I wanted to be, but I was getting enough traffic that probably was getting like 10 emails a day for collaborations and probably like 5 gigs every few weeks. So enough for me to be busy with my full-time job then the launch of Caribum, and then that busy to the point where like I really wasn't sleeping more than 5 hours, 6 hours. At that point, oh my God. There was a day I remember I was in Puerto Rico with Gabby actually. I woke up at 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. to go do a collaboration with a kayaking company at 7 a.m. till 9. Then meet up with Gabby for Caribum, do a bunch of like clerical work with them until 2. Then do another collaboration for a doctor, basically a chiropractor in Puerto Rico, and then work from 4 p.m. till 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, because it was California time and I was in Puerto Rico. The time change, I was like working crazy hours. And I woke up the next day just dead, just drained. And that's kind of like when I realized like I couldn't do it for another year.
Damn.
So I took a chance. But also I have to say, I mean, my fiance, when he saw that, he was like, we were not splitting evenly, but still splitting a lot of the bills. Yeah. So he did help out a lot. He basically told me, if you want to take this chance right now, from now until the wedding, I'll take care of your side of the bills, which was huge.
What a guy. What a guy. And let's give him a little credit. His name is Nicky, right?
His name's Nicky. Yeah.
Like I feel like in your world, in your universe, he's the character, like he's like a character too.
He's one of the main characters.
He's a main character, and he's a main character in that storyline. And I love when I see your stories and I see your Instagram posts, and he's always making like an appearance, and he's always like it's like a meme. You can make like he's funny, you know, and he comes in and out, and he's always just like a funny, like he's funny in the content. You know what I mean?
I am not kidding. He is more of a natural than I am. Like it's taken me a lot of, learning and wanting to do this to become good, and like practicing and doing it all over, over and over again. He doesn't even have Instagram. He just like shows up on mine, but it comes so naturally to him. Like anytime I put a camera in front of his face, he like says the right thing, is witty, is funny. I don't know how he does it. It's great.
That's great. Shout out to him, man. He's out here doing it. He's like, and he supports you a lot, and that's what really matters.
Yes. Even though, obviously he wasn't into Instagram or didn't really know much about blogging or anything else. From the very start, like I never really had to sit him down and be like, I need you to be this or show up like this for me. He just did it. He just showed up. So
I was going to say, how did y'all meet? How long you known him, and when did you guys meet?
Oh my God. So I've known him for, we've been dating for almost 4.5 years, almost 5 years.
Okay.
We met on Bumble. So fancy app.
Oh, wow. So I think it's a very good topic to touch upon, because we live in a society now where it's like, that's a very normal thing. So can you please speak to that? And a lot of girls that use, or guys that use Bumble and all these kind of apps, you're living proof that it's possible. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So explain. So talk to the audience a little bit about that experience.
So straight up, I actually did not use the app much. People always ask me like, what are some tips? Like how, because you had so much success and blah, blah, blah. It's literally, I used it maybe 3 times total in my life. And this was over a period of 2 years. So it was kind of an accident on my end. I was having a girls' night with Anna, which is the other Caribum owner, and some other girls, and they happened to all be on Bumble while I was like watching the movie by myself. So I re-downloaded the app, the peer pressure, and he was the only person I swiped on that night. And then we just happened to meet. We talked. I had to reach out first, so I said like, "Hey, I don't know, something lame."
Well, tell him the pickup line. Tell him the pickup line, Leah. What was the pickup line?
We actually went over the conversation like 2 years ago. Like we had the screenshots saved, and it was so cringe. Like I genuinely don't remember, but if I did, I wouldn't tell you guys because it was really
I'm glad. Well, you guys are doing great now. 4 years in the game, 5 years strong. Like that's awesome. Now that's your fiance. Y'all getting married. You know what I mean? You're getting married. You're getting married next month. Talk to us. Congratulations to both of y'all. Can you talk about before we kind of we're gonna take a little side mission from the main quest.
Of course.
But can you talk a little bit about your wedding and stuff like that? I think it's very important also to let people know about like your wedding, like where you're getting married, what's going on, what's popping with that. Because you're a wedding planner right now, I would say.
Pretty much. So I'm having a destination wedding in Cabo San Lucas. The hotel is the Cape Hotel. It's like my dream hotel. Just from Pinterest, I just noticed after I started doing research, I noticed that I had pinned that specific hotel about, I don't know, probably 3 to 5 times. So that was amazing to find it and to be able to actually book that spot that was like so meaningful to me. But also Cabo is meaningful for me and for Nikki because that's where we first travel when we had been dating for like a month and a half. It was my birthday and we just went for a weekend, Friday to Sunday. It's super easy to travel from LA to Cabo just because it's like a couple hours. It's right there. But yeah, so that's where we first traveled, and it's also where we got engaged almost 2 years ago. So
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I would have done Puerto Rico. So I'm from Puerto Rico. Would have done Puerto Rico, but I wanted a smaller wedding. And I know too many people back home. Like as much as I would have loved having it there, like I didn't want to hurt people's feelings by only inviting, the people's closest to me if I knew, there were.
I feel like there's always going to be that conflicting, like you can't invite everyone and their mother. And that's okay. That's fine. You know what I mean? Someone's going to get butthurt. But it is what it is. You're paying for it, at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
And to me, I think one of the hardest things have been, I'm actually a very agreeable person. Like I don't tend to be very selfish or assertive in a selfish way, but for this wedding, I've had to be because it's one day. We're also the ones paying for it. And I just didn't want to be that person or that bride, like having small talk at her wedding. Like I really, really needed to just have the people that matter the most to me there. So, but it's tough. That's tough.
Very like,
you have people that you love that you don't see often, but you really have to draw the line somewhere. And it's
damn, that's that's called being mature. That's called growing up. You know what I mean? I feel you. Whenever I throw like a little pregame, or obviously it's not a wedding, but I'm saying like, what I'm saying, like, I feel you. Like when I throw parties or I do things, everyone, like, I feel like everyone's gonna talk regardless. You know what I mean? So might as well do what you want. They're gonna talk if you do well, and they're gonna talk if you do poorly. They're gonna talk if you invited them or if you didn't invite them. So you might as well just do whatever the hell you want to do because they're gonna talk regardless. You know what I mean? So just do you. For someone like you who is very pure and genuine, like that probably hurts a little bit. And for me too, like I love inviting everyone to do everything, but sometimes you can't, especially if you're paying. This is a paid event. You know what I mean?
And the way I see it, the right people will understand. Like the 100%. Right people will put you first, want what's best for you before anything else. And they'll get it. They won't
If my friend didn't invite me to his wedding or something like that, or wedding, it's okay. I didn't make it for whatever reason. That's fine. Why is it my responsibility to then put mad stress on this person when that's not needed? You know what I mean? They're already going through, I would imagine, 100 other things. They don't need me or anyone else complaining that they didn't get an invite. Well, I'm sorry, you didn't make it. I'm sorry. Not everyone gets into Harvard neither, so you got to get used to it. You know what I mean? Sorry, it is what it is. But that's crazy.
I mean, I personally would never get mad if it was, a friend or I have
less money you got to spend. Less money you got to spend.
True. Weddings are expensive both ways. I'm not going to just say, oh, it's expensive for me. And especially a destination wedding. Nikki and I decided not to do a gift registry or like basically just put on the wedding website that we're not asking for anything because it is already a gift that people are buying a plane ticket and a hotel. Like that is gift enough.
Yeah, that's really nice. That's really nice. And the reason why I asked that question, like I asked about your wedding, was because I feel like I'm 25 and I feel like I have a lot of friends that are engaged trying to get married or will get married in the next couple of years. So Real Relate fan, the reason why I asked that is because I feel like a lot of our friends are kind of in that phase as well too. You say you're 28, like same thing. Like we're all in the same age bubble. You know what I mean? So now let's get back to the main quest. We finished the side mission. Let's get back to the main quest and let's think about, okay, you come up, you leave, you're done with the finance job. You were in tech, you were all these jobs. Now you're going to Caribum and you link up is you, Anna, right? And Gabby. The three of y'all to make this massive behemoth thing. Now, we talk about it. And you know what? I got mine right here, bro. I got mine right here.
Oh, that means
mine right. Actually, let me turn this off real quick.
Oh my God. You got to model it next.
I don't know if that's
model right now and model it.
I got mine right here. You know what I mean? Let me whip out this bad Larry for y'all. I got this because I'm going to Miami in a couple of months. And I told Gabby, I was like, you already know, I got the letter and everything. So when you guys get the package, you guys get the letter and everything. You get the sick ass, like little pouch and you get the sick ass trunks, bro. These are fresh.
It's all sustainable, multi-use. The pouch you can use as a wet bikini, in your case, not bikini, wet trunk. Little bag. So if you're packing, you can just put it in there and it won't, mess up the rest of your stuff.
Those are nice.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying.
That. That's so great.
So if anyone wants to hop in this chat and say some silly shit, they can go right ahead because those are awesome. Those are some of my favorite pair of swimming trunks, bro. Those are great. I love them. And thank you. So that's your design. Like you guys, so talk to me now, the main quest, the main story. Talk to me now about the creation of the swimming trunks and the swimwear and y'all brand and y'all three coming together like the Avengers.
So it started with Anna and I. Anna was a designer for BCBG in LA. So she's legit. I was just like a girl that liked swimsuits and bikinis and had an idea, but she's legit. And her and I got together. We started doing some research. We knew that we wanted to be sustainable. Going back to what I initially wanted was to give back from whatever profits I would make with my swimwear brand. We knew that because we weren't taking any loans, it was just like basically my savings and just figuring it out ourselves, that we weren't going to be profitable for a minute. But we wanted to make sure our materials weren't damaging to the environment, that people were going to be able to use our swimsuits in multiple ways. Basically that was our mission. And Gabby, we met Gabby through a friend, also from Puerto Rico. And we all just clicked immediately, and we knew Gabby was like amazing when it came to marketing, anything Instagram. I mean, even my personal blog, I had so much help from Gabby while we were living in LA. She would take my photos, she would give me tips. Like I probably wouldn't be where I am right now without her. She's amazing. So I think one day we were just like talking about Caribum, Anna and me, and Gabby was just there like having coffee with us. And she's like, well, I know this is your guys' project, but hear me out. And she basically gave us like a little pitch of what she could bring in. And Anna and I were like, yeah, I mean, 100%. We kind of like needed a third person just based on, I worked full-time, she worked full-time. It worked out. And we all had the same vision for the brand. So that was like an immediate click. And yeah, that's pretty much how that happened.
That's how y'all Samuel L. Jackson this. Y'all assembled everyone together just like that. And then they go, boom. Exactly. Boom, like the Powerpuff Girls.
Like the Powerpuff Girls.
There you go. And we gotta give you credit too, because you're definitely one of the most organized people I've ever seen in my entire life. Even your decor from right behind you is crazy, but like all of like all the see, right? But it's like now it's subtly like in your brain, like the craziest like organization, like how you guys match things with one another. It kind of reminds me of like Kanye and Kim, how they kind of have their house and stuff like that. Like how like not like a minimalistic, but like a simple style approach. Yep. And
it is a little it is kind of like a minimal style.
Yeah.
That's something that even though I had the eye for the aesthetics of minimalism, Nikki has introduced minimalism in actual like practicality into my life. Like I get rid, for a blogger, my closet is tiny. Like I get rid of whatever I don't use 4 times a year, give it to Goodwill, give it to friends. Like I don't like to hoard, and I like to do the same with like my house, my decor, like keep it simple and clean. And I think it was I don't even know, some podcast actually that I listened to that said that your house is an expression of like what's going on in your head, deep inside. So if you're in a complete mess, then that's something that's going on like back there. So I try to keep it like as much as how I am, like outside, inside.
No, it's true. And it all matches. Like even your outfits match, like everything. And your outfits are always on point. How do you stay creative with the outfits?
I love it.
This is for the men and the women. This is for everybody right now. Like, I love that you like put a link to everything that you get or own or buy. You always make a link for it. You always like give credit, and you understand that not everyone can buy designer shit. So it's like you also try to find a substitute if they can't get that. And I appreciate that. For someone who has zero style right here, it's really great to be like, damn.
Everyone has style. You definitely have your style.
Yeah, something like that. I was just like, it's
you don't have to be trendy to have style. You definitely have style.
Yeah, well, it's all I'm saying is like I love that you like think of everyone while you're doing this type of stuff. And you're really like for the people, I feel like. And you know, and you really, I feel like as an influencer, like we'll call you too, like you really, I feel like you actually influence people. Okay, you're not just like a fucking.
I hope so.
That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like a lot of influencers or a lot of people on social media, I just see them fucking do a bunch of silly shit here and there, but like you really do like make an impact on the people around you. And at least here at Real Relate, we understand that and appreciate you for that. You know what I mean?
I don't do it for me. I mean, if it was for me, regardless of Instagram, I would still dress out in cute outfits because I love fashion. But the best part is really providing a value, especially like for the people that like I interact with my community every day. I talk to them, like I respond to all DMs, most of them, I think, unless, you know, 1 or 2 slip out. But if I can't provide value, like then there's no point. Like it's never about like bragging or anything along those lines. It's really like, how can I help somebody or inspire them? Like, because that's how I got to where I'm at. Like I got to where I'm at because there was a lot of people on social media, a handful of people, I want to say like around 5, that I looked up to. And that
shout
also
them out. Shout them out.
Sivan Ayla, my favorite influencer. I actually got to meet her and worked for her company for a minute in LA. Mariana Hewitt, who's the owner of Summer Fridays. Love her. I just reposted a reel from her today. It's really great. She has her own podcast too. Amazing. Yeah, there's a few, but they basically, everything they posted elevated my life and made me want to be better, do more. They posted tips too, like you said, organization. Like I didn't just, you know, come up with this. I learned it from other people. So if I can do the same and pay it forward, that's all that matters.
And also, congrats on 20K on Instagram. I know that was recently. Awesome. Congratulations. That's a big milestone because as a blogger, as an influencer, like you need to keep those margins up as well too. So like statistically speaking now, how much, I know you made a comment recently about you don't really like the way Instagram has kind of changed with its analytics. You want to move over to TikTok and stuff like that. Can you talk to us about the difference in your experience between using Instagram nowadays and TikTok as well?
So I will say not just it's more, I want to focus on the importance of not just having Instagram. So it doesn't have to be TikTok, but you should have other outlets, other social media platforms. So I have been focusing a lot on Pinterest, TikTok. Is there another one? Oh, Like to Know It, which is where I make my commissions of my links and everything that I share. So I don't think I made it to 20K because of Instagram. I genuinely don't. My Instagram insights were not very good in the last few months compared to a lot of my friends. But because I put my eggs in other baskets, like the TikTok, the Pinterest basket, and a lot of my content actually blew up on those platforms, that brought traffic back into my Instagram. So I want to say like my main blogging platform is Instagram. It definitely is. But in order to reach new audiences, I think it's super important to have, put your eggs in other baskets. So not just depend on the Instagram algorithm to show you to the world.
I was going to say, do you feel like Instagram is becoming outdated? Do you think there's something about to come on, like a new app on the horizon?
I think it's just that's just how it goes. Like, I don't think Instagram's going to be around forever either. And I also don't think everyone should be on every platform. I think you should focus on like one or two, not one, 2 or 3. But like, I'm personally not on YouTube. Maybe one day I will, but I can only.
Well, you will be. You will be. This you will be on YouTube now. You will be on YouTube.
Well, now, yes, I've been featured on other channels in YouTube, but I have my own. I just don't really have anything there. But yeah, I think some people could do great with just YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Like, maybe they don't need Pinterest, they don't need Like to Know It. From what I've seen in other successful bloggers, there's usually a happy number around 3. Anything more, they get like too spread out. Like they spread themselves thin. But yeah, I found a lot of success on TikTok. It's really fun. It's a lot more relaxed than Instagram. Like, I get to be funnier or just like less aesthetically pleasing when it comes to posts and stuff like that. So it's been good. And I've only started this TikTok journey as of like 2 months ago, like really dedicating my time to TikTok, like January, like end of January.
So they've always told me that I should make a TikTok or some shit like that.
You should, 100%.
I'm like, if I did, obviously I would just take it over the Real Relate TikTok and then start banging it out. But like I don't know. It's crazy because I like for a while I'm not on Twitter or anything like that. All I really have is like Instagram and Snapchat, and even those I don't even really use Snapchat like that.
Oh yeah, I don't even use Snapchat anymore.
But I'm saying, like, there are social medias that are dying. So that's why I was wondering. Yeah. Like, I wonder if there's and
Instagram could die. I mean, it's definitely not there yet, or even on its route to death. But TikTok algorithm is much better than Instagram's algorithm when it comes to if you want to reach new audiences. Like, it'll show you to more people, especially if you're starting out. Like, I haven't found a lot of success with the Instagram algorithm in the last 2 years, to be honest.
That's good to know. Barbara, keep that in the back of your head. Just keep that little, put a pin on that.
I'm taking notes. Don't worry.
You're taking Barbara.
Yeah,
Barbara.
TikTok is also great to explore with like new content. So, for example, like, I've had my Instagram for like 3 years that I want to say that it's been LYA the brand. And maybe I want to try something new, but I don't want to do it on Instagram because what if it
flops,
or like my audience is like, what is she doing? Yeah. So TikTok is a good place. Like, if you're on the fence about something, try it there first. The audience is a lot more flexible. And then if it does well, then you can move it onto your main channel.
That's good. I didn't even think about it like that. Now, I feel like my view on like social media and stuff like that was a little different before we had this conversation. Yeah. And I'm glad that we spoke.
I mean, mine changes every couple months, but that's pretty much where I stand right now.
That's good. That's good. We'll check up on you in a couple of months. Actually, we met this guy. His name is Kevin Cooney. He's a like Boston TikToker, and he's got his own like coffee brand and everything like that. I'll send you his stuff, like his page on Instagram. He's very upbeat. Like, he is like super upbeat, like super charismatic guy. And he's ever since we've been talking to him, he's grown a lot. Like, the whole coffee brand of his has grown, and like now he's like starting to do workout stuff. But I feel like he's very similar to you, and so like he's big on TikTok, not as Instagram as much. And like, I feel like he does a lot of creative, like he's in the workshop in TikTok, and then he brings it over to like Instagram and stuff like that. So that's good. That's good to know, the comparisons and stuff. So now that you have this brand out, my other question was, like, when you left your job and like started doing the Caribum with the girls and everything like that, like, when did it when did y'all start like making some cash, some residual cash to actually make it like sustainable? Because you said you're working to make cash for like a minute. So this is a very key aspect to the journey. You know what I mean? So can you talk about like those financials if you can?
Yes. So actually, most of my income comes from my personal blog.
Okay.
And that's something that I haven't touched much. So remember how I said that initially I wanted the blog to be just basically like a stage for once I launched my brand for me to have an audience. So that completely turned around a little over a year ago. Because as I did it more, I realized I genuinely loved it. It was so much fun. I also loved hearing back from people, like getting DMs from girls like, hey, I love, like, you helped me. What you said earlier, I actually just had this happen yesterday. I shared the brand where I got the bridesmaid robes for my wedding, and somebody DM'd me, thank you so much. I love that you share all this stuff. I was going crazy looking for this type of service in Puerto Rico and I couldn't find it anywhere. And you just like, I love that you share everything because it helped me so much and it just makes my life so much easier. So that was so great to hear. And that started happening, I want to say around 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. And I figured out how to monetize other than just going through partnerships with brands individually. So I can actually monetize my links through Like to Know It, which is the other platform that I use, the other social, it's kind of like a social media. And yeah, so most of my money comes from there. My goal for Caribum after launching was that I didn't have to put any more money into it so that it would self-sustain and that we could pay ourselves bonuses starting year 2. And then after year 3, hopefully it would be actually profitable. So I can happily say that that has happened. The second collection was completely paid by the profits of the first collection. I wanted to give the girls a little bonus for December, and they actually said no, that they would prefer to just keep putting it into the brand. So that was amazing to hear from Gabby and Anna. Shout out to them. So yeah, hopefully that answers that.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I've made most of my money, if not all of my money, through either paid collaborations with brands directly or Like to Know It.
Okay, damn. Brandon's he is just, I know
I'm just
Brandon is sitting in the
like
back, like he is, my man's is typing this out right now. He is going hard. My bad. If we look a little dead, we just came back from seeing Bad Bunny last night.
Oh my God. No way.
Oh my God, indeed, definitely.
Yeah. Oh my God is how I was feeling this morning.
I'm seeing him in September. I can't wait.
Oh my God. Absolutely. Dude, his set was like 2 hours long.
I've never seen him live ever.
I've never seen a concert with so much pride, so much like enthusiasm, like from not him, like from him too, but from the whole audience. Like everyone was, dude, when they would scream, like I could feel it. Like they, like the Puerto Rican flags are out. You know, I'm half Puerto Rican, half Dominican, Barbara's from Puerto Rican, so it meant a lot to us. And if you know Bad Bunny, you know his come up. Like that was great to see where he's at today. You know what I mean? And like how like influential and like how successful he's become, and like put it on other artists, and like it was awesome. And it was just a great time. And everyone there was
it's impossible not to love him.
Yeah. And everyone there was just there for a good time and like just indulging in the experience, man. And it was great to see Puerto Rico on the map like that. You know what I mean? Especially like Boston's sold out tour, like in the Northeast, like that's crazy. You know what I mean?
Oh, I have seen him live. I saw him live in Coachella like 2 years ago, but it was just like a little bit. So
yeah, this was his tour
concert, right?
Yeah, it was sick. Like he would leave off the stage.
I'm so jealous.
He would leave off the stage and I'd be like, oh, is it done? And he would come back out and just do another song, do another like 10 songs. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's crazy, bro. Like awesome. Great time. Definitely excited for you to go see him. I definitely want to see him again. We had like 10 of us. Then there was, we had a pregame, and then we had obviously the concert. And then there was an after party with his DJ and at Big Night Live. And that was absolutely incredible as well too. We had so much fun, so many people, but my buddy had to go. This is what me and Barbara really haven't like talked about this at all. So we're kind of fresh on this. Well, one of my friends like called, he like texted me. He's like, yo, like he left this morning and he was like, yo, like they sent me home from work. And I'm like, why, what happened? He goes, he's like in like biotech or like medical field, like so like experiments and shit like that. And he goes, he goes, I threw up on myself in like one of the clean rooms. Yo, I know, Brandon, you haven't heard this yet. I don't think.
Oh my God.
And he threw up on himself and they sent him home for like COVID reasons or whatever. So he just went home and like just played I played his Xbox for a bit, and I was just like, God damn. Everyone was down bad this morning. Everyone was down bad. We didn't go back to like 3:30.
Hey, I had a boss in finance that used to say that when you were hungover, that you're ill. It's an illness, like you're literally sick. So it's totally on the board to take a sick day for that reason.
I feel like with you and Gabby, y'all the godmothers of like Real Relay. I feel like y'all like, I love the energy. We post you repost us. The love is there. I appreciate it. But I have a question. Do you mind if I ask you a personal question?
Go for it.
I need your advice. Because again, this happened to me last night. And now Brandon is going to hear it live right here for the first time. All right. So I need some girl advice, right? But last night I was talking to this girl, and let's just fast forward to the end. She goes, hey, give me your number. And I go, nah, let me get your Instagram instead. And then she like looked at me and like paused for like a second. And she goes, okay, let me see your phone. And I go, nah, pull out your phone and add me on your phone. Now, and she did. I followed her back and everything like that. Okay. But I've been asking people all day, what do they think about that situation? Do you think I should have just exchanged numbers? Do you think Instagram shouldn't even be in the picture?
Was there a reason you didn't want to give her your number off the bat?
Like hear from my side, Leah. Okay, hear from my side at least a little bit before I get pumped up. Yes. So like I said, like we chilled for like the last like half hour at the club or whatever like that. I hadn't like been talking to her. To be honest, I didn't really talk to her much the whole night. But I'm saying like I felt like I didn't really know her too well. So I didn't want to give her my number right off the rip. I wanted to kind of get her Instagram because it's social media technically. And I want to get a gauge for her vibe. You know, I know the Instagram isn't like, oh, it's not me all be all, it's not who I am, but I can get a gauge of what type of person you are based on your Instagram. You know what I mean? So I wanted to see if she was cool. If she's cool, I DM her, then I just give her my number. And then, you know, we take it from there. You know what I mean? But what is your opinion on that situation? What more context do you need to get your full analysis on this?
So I'm going to be honest.
Be hard on me. Be hard on me. Give it to me.
Sound like conceited in any way, but I don't think I've ever asked a guy for his number. Mm-hmm. But if I did, I would definitely be offended. If he said no. Yeah. Yeah. But okay, so we're in the era of like complete equality, right? Like we're all the same. I personally, if I just me being me, if I was out in a club and a guy that I had just been barely talking to asked for my number, I would, and I've done this before, not with guys, but just like not at clubs, but in these kind of situations, I have turned down people from like grabbing my number to give them my Instagram. I've done this.
Why?
Most recently I did it at the mall because it was some guy that like stopped me at the mall and like he was like, oh, I love your style, actually just complimenting on my outfit. Nice guy, but I think he was a comedian. And he said, oh, give me your number so that like we can connect and I can invite you to some shows. And I said, oh, no, actually just grab my Instagram and let's connect there. I've done that. So,
but what is the difference between the phone number and the social media handle? What is the difference? And that's what I'm trying to get.
I mean,
is the Instagram less, or because in some cases,
for sure. I mean,
Instagram could be more though. The Instagram could be more.
I have 20,000 followers. I'm not going to, I hope I wouldn't want 20,000 of them to have my phone number, to be honest. Like I couldn't handle it. So yeah, I think Instagram is meant for that. It's less personal than your phone number. But that being said, if it's kind of like
casual.
Yeah. And if you like the girl or there's even a chance that you might like her, next time I would not turn down.
I fucked up. I fucked up, Barry. You hear that? I fucked up. She's
You're done good.
the third girl today to tell me that I fucked up. But it's like,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm gonna follow.
Respectfully.
Respectfully, at the end of the day, though, I was just gonna walk out though. Like I wasn't gonna ask for anything. I was just gonna just leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you really, I mean, you
So
don't.
I didn't really like lose in the situation. I
No,
give a fuck.
no.
You know what I mean? And
You
so,
don't,
but
but
overall, but it's good to like. I wanted to know for myself. You know, next time,
Mhm.
get the number. You know, if she was like someone that I was 100% into, like, you know what I'm saying, I would have just easily grabbed the number. But it was someone I was kind of like 50-50.
Or go one step further. Give your number, maybe with like one bad digit, and then also get Instagram.
Oh.
So that way she doesn't really have your number. You have like an out there. I've done that. Like the one
You
digit off.
sneaky,
Why, dog?
sneaky, man.
I mean,
Don't be telling
like
Nikki.
a
Don't be telling
layer
Nikki.
deeper, but
Yeah, don't be
this
telling.
was way before Nikki, all of this. But
Yeah, that's hilarious. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, that's what I wanted to know. Like, all right, so next time, the number, no Instagram.
Mhm.
See, that's
Or
that's
both. No, do the Instagram.
Or-
Always add the Instagram for sure.
That's what I was.
But right, don't say no to the number.
Yeah, I told her straight up. No, I'm too Hollywood now, Barbara. You heard that?
Yeah, you're
Too
that
Hollywood.
was pretty LA of you. I'm not gonna lie.
I told her like, yeah, I have an interview with Leah tomorrow. Just give me the Instagram. I don't need your number. I was gonna say my last and final question is, as you've told us your journey from the beginning, the very beginning, to where you're from, like before you were creative, always having the idea in your head, to creating, having the Powerpuff Girls, the Avengers kind of coming in together and creating this brand that's in your head, to now where you're at today. You know, could you speak on some advice to upcoming creatives, big or small, that might be struggling, like we said, maybe with apps or something like that, or someone who's just struggling to maybe make a first step into putting content, or something that maybe they do want to become a blogger at one point, maybe they do want to become this at one point, and they don't know how to make that first step, or they're struggling. What would you say to someone, maybe older, younger, to them to help them get through that?
There's probably two things. I mean, there's a lot that I could say, but two major pieces of advice that I could give. The first one is to try to not compare yourself too much. It's tough when a lot of the times you do have to look into other people's content to get inspiration or to know where you're going, when it comes to like getting a little bit of guidance. But there's a difference between wanting that guidance and looking for inspiration and then, putting yourself down because you're not there. I did that quite a bit, and I still, every once in a while, I have to keep myself in check because it just happens. Like I'll automatically, my brain will go into like, oh wow, like that's so good, I don't know if I can do that. Get that off, like train your brain to try to exit those thoughts. That's one. The second is, that's actually what I just posted today on the story, the repost from Mariana Hewitt, is to not be afraid to be cringe and not be afraid of what family, friends will say, because it's so funny. People think like influencing is so glamorous. Like you go into it like to look cool. It is the lamest thing. Like starting as an influencer, starting as a creator is so lame. Like to just put yourself out there for the first time, grab your phone and be like recording yourself. And there's nothing more nerve-wracking and like less attractive. Like everyone that you know or that knows you well will be like, what is she doing? But you have to get past that. You can't let that stop you. Like, don't be afraid of it. And you'll be able to make it much further than you think. That's my advice.
That's good, because I have a lot of friends that even when we post content here at Real Relate, they're always like, oh, that's cringe, or that's this, or this, that. And I'm like, yeah, no shit. We're starting out. We're amateur. Don't duh. You know what I mean?
Don't be afraid to be cringe.
But I think
do it.
That's
how you grow. That's how you learn.
But that's what I'm saying. That's called, but that's also like Barbara always says, that's called being real and relatable. You know what I mean? Zinger, you know what I mean? That's the point. You know what I mean? That's life. We're all humans. We're all fucking weird. You know what I mean? Like that's life. And where we grow as humans is like we learn from one another. And if we make a mistake or we fuck up, it's okay. We help each other get back up and rise and go above that. You know what I mean? And
100%.
and hit
But if
that.
you're scared, so scared of messing up that you let that stop you, like you're not going to go anywhere. Like,
You can't be afraid. You can't be afraid of that. And I know it's easier said than done, but
it is.
like you said, just try. Like you gotta just try. You gotta also just put it out there as well too, and give it a shot. And maybe you get all those comments or, oh, this is cringe. It's like, okay, like maybe you do it differently. Maybe you throw in a cool background, or you'd say something a little differently. Like you alter your kind of like your the way you do your shit. I'm not saying change who you are as a person, but how you are in the internet.
No, you have to test, and you know, you have to test different strategies. You know, growth is change, so you're constantly changing. I'm sure my content now is not going to be the same as my content even in 2 months, but in a year down the line. I'll still be me, and I think, like, you know, bottom line, the core will still be its genuine self, but the content will change for sure. And
we wouldn't want you to change a little bit. We wouldn't want you to change. We like you the way you are. You know what I mean? We support you for the
better. It should
for the better. Yes, yes. No, I hope you don't stay a same.
That's worth noting.
You know what I mean? No, hopefully you get better, but we support your core, your heart, that what's at the foundation of who you are. You know what I mean? And like, you can be successful in this industry by being pure and by being real and by being yourself. You don't have to conform to whatever is around you. And I hope if I ever become some shit like that, or you ever become some shit like that, you have people around you that are going to correct.
I tell you
like, yo, like, don't, that's fucked up. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know what I mean? I would never do something for a check. I would never do something that goes against my morals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know? So I feel you. And I really appreciate that. I was going to say too, like, I saw that you talking about content that you kind of mess around with on your, I think it was on your TikTok, but you reposted on Instagram. You were leaving to your bachelorette party. And again, this is another instance where my man's Nikki comes in and he says, you guys did like a weird, it's like is it a newish thing on TikTok? But like it's
like a voiceover of, and it was of The Office. The original clip was from The Office.
Yeah.
And yeah, that did very well.
That was hilarious. I thought that was fucking funny. You were like, she's
loving it.
Brandon, she's going on a bachelorette party and her fiance is dropping her off at the airport. And the voiceover is like, he's like, it starts off with her fiance, Nikki, and he goes, hey, I need you to be on your best behavior. And he's like, or something like that. And then she goes like, the voiceover is like, well, I promised other people I would be on my worst behavior. Some shit like that. And then he's like, I'll fire you. She's like, you can't fire me. And I just thought, that was fucking hilarious. I thought that was so funny. It was such a nice, like, quirky little thing for you to do versus a lot of content that you do post on your Instagram.
Yeah. And it took so little. I mean, it probably took us 5 minutes and a couple tries to get it. He was hating me for it because it was 6 a.m. and we were actually on our way to the airport. He was like, "What are you making me?" She
goes, "This content don't stop."
It's easy, like the trade-off. I thought it was worth doing it. And I was literally on the way to the airport to my bachelor party, like my bachelorette weekend. So
I was gonna say, I guess, like, to kind of keep it real, has there been any like rough patches or like any hurdles being like kind of having your social media?
That's a great question. What's the secret?
With Nikki or with?
Oh, just maybe Brandon. I was talking more like in general.
Long-term relationships.
I guess long-term, yeah.
What's the secret?
Honestly, so with Nikki and social media, I have been like blessed by the heavens. Oh, well, he would say that at night he wants me to like unplug like after 8 p.m. and not be on my phone and watch a movie or watch Netflix or read or do something else. And it's really, a lot of times it's hard for me to unplug. So I will say that's probably one of his pet peeves. And that's something that I need to work on, like put in an end date to my work day, because you probably get it. You work from home, like you just keep doing what you're doing. Sometimes you get so into it that, like, I was actually working on my phone till 3:30 in the morning last night. I'm sure Nikki didn't like that. He went to bed without me. So that's probably the one part that he would complain about.
Damn. Okay. That's what I wanted to know, because I felt like which I love positivity, but I felt like there needed to be something that was like, okay, like it's not all
Yeah.
peaches and rainbows. There's
No,
some
no,
hurdles.
absolutely not. No. But it should always be good. And I emphasize this I tell this to all my friends. I tell it to Gabby when she has like a new boo around or anyone else, like it should be good. There is such a thing as good. Like some people think, oh, love and relationships are constant work and constant. It is work, but it should be good, especially at the beginning, because things only get harder and more complicated. So in that sense, I'm very blessed with
The foundation
is very strong.
you know what I mean, this foundation should be solid.
And Nikki's not my first boyfriend, you know, not marrying my first boyfriend. I've had boyfriends before, and I've had boyfriends that one for 2 years that I probably had an argument with him like every other day of 2 years. Like I thought at one point in my life that that's just how relationships are. They're that kind of work. It doesn't have to be like that. We probably have like 2 arguments a month.
That's good. That's real. That's real.
There's always going to be arguments. There's always going to be, you know, you're not the same person, so you're going to have, you know, things here and there, but
the sofrito's gotta be solid all the time. It's got the base gotta be there. The base gotta be there. And that's a great way to end this on. I love that. At the end of the day, your sofrito's gotta be fired. But listen, Leah, I appreciate you hopping on. I appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us. I know you're super busy all the time, always getting after it, always working. Thank you for hopping on the Zoom and talking to us. I know you don't know us from a fucking hole in the wall. Like, who the fuck are these guys? But that's what we do. We're going to go out and we're going to reach out. You know what I mean? And I know that I learned a lot today. Brandon, are you even there?
Brandon?
No, somebody just like called me on FaceTime, so I had to like decline it. I'm like, no, I'm taking.
He's like writing all the notes down. He's writing all the notes down. He's like, oh, fuck, this is crazy and bananas. But that's good.
I want a summary essay emailed to me.
5 paragraphs, thesis, supporting evidence, everything.
And is there any last words, Leah, that you want to leave with the Real Relate family, with your peoples that are going to see this, with anything? Is there any last words?
Oh, don't put that pressure on me.
I got it.
No, seriously, thank you guys for having me. I was, you know, a little nervous still at first because it's only my second podcast ever, but had so much fun. By the end, it was like cruising. So thank you guys for the opportunity.
Of course. Brandon, anything to say?
Just thank you for coming on. You dropped a bunch of gems. The essay,
so many gems.
Yeah.
I'll be waiting for it.
You set the bar. You set the bar. This is the bar. When anyone wants to come on this show, this is the bar that I need to see. I need to see this enthusiasm. I see this positivity, and this is the bar I want to set. So don't hit me up and ask me about coming on the goddamn show if this is not the energy you are putting in. If I don't see this, then don't come to me. I'm just kidding. But like, anyway, this is the Real Relate podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. Fam, I love y'all. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube when this goes up. You'll see all the social media. Leo will hit you up if anything, promo, anything like that. But yeah, this is the end. Barber, let's see if we can get your connection right now. Get it. Hit me with an outro. Right now.
All right. Hopefully the internet holds up. But Real Relate family, thank you for tuning in. Leah, thank you for coming on. This was the co-founder, original founder of the Caribum Swimwear Company. Peace out, family.
You already know. Deuces.
Ella es calladita, pero para el sexo es atrevida.